So this is without doubt the best example we've seen. Wooden slats across there where they've tried to cover it up. Just insanely dangerous. Right, this is definitely going to work, isn't it? Really actually nervous, which is stupid, because if we lose a GoPro, we lose a GoPro. We don't want to lose a GoPro, obviously. Good morning everybody, and welcome to another video. You join us today staring at the face of Sapperton Tunnel, built in 1789, or opened in 1789, 3,500 yards long approximately, and at the time was the longest tunnel of its construction type for a canal in the world. And now only still outdistanced by two other tunnels in the UK. So you join us now where we try and have a look at some of the architecture, we try and find some of the shafts, and we have a look at the audacity it took to build a tunnel of this nature, taking into consideration the length, the geology, the landscape around you, the workmanship, just completely crazy things we've got planned up for this video. Epicness. So join us on today's adventure. Okay, we're walking up the side of the canal trying to get to the portal. I don't know how well or how far we're going to get because we only have a certain amount of welliage. Okay, rather frustrating. This is as far as I'm going to get because I'm at peak welly level right now. I'm still 50 yards away from the portal. So what we're going to do is we're going to try and get up on the embankment and across and see if there's any other way down. Right, getting too deep. A little bit frustrating.
Sit on the edge there.
Yeah, I can lean on the edge, yeah. Right, so we are walking
up a hill.
Up a hill. We're walking along the length of the tunnel, the Sapperton Tunnel, 2.4 metres long, and we're now in search of some of the old shafts. Now we have to be a little bit careful around here because they should all be fenced off, we're told, but there's one or two which are yet undiscovered, and apparently they're covered over with wood and then put some topsoil on top. So let's talk about shafts. Along here, this 2.4 mile tunnel, they built 26 shafts, certainly 25, possibly 26. One was abandoned, likely because of the flooding. And all around us, you can tell you're back on the alignment of the canal and the tunnel because you can see spore heaps. Clearly, back there is a big old spore heap to our left.
Well and truly out of the sort of natural alignments, isn't it?
Now, why do they have 26 shafts along this canal? Because it's 2.4 miles long. So obviously the assumption would be you do need some air ventilation. But that wasn't really the answer. The answer was they wanted to create 54 working faces. So 54 working surfaces where they would then dig through around about 1 to 1.2 metres high. So it would be men crawling on their knees pretty much, pickaxes, explosives, to try and bore their way through this 2.4 mile tunnel. Right, we're going to step into the hedge here. Rebecca's just seen a fence up on this, up on the hill there. So what we're talking about, when we're talking about shafts, it's really important to remember, we're used to railway shafts, railway tunnels where there was a big, clear, obvious brick built, aligned place. Now, these are much more primitive, we assume, because all the pictures we've seen online are literally just holes in the ground. So, quite dangerous. Clearly there was a shaft there, but it doesn't look super intact. It looks like it's almost been filled in. So maybe that was the one that was abandoned because of flooding. Who knows? You can't really see much down there. Let's move on and see what else we can find. So we continued our journey northwest along the line of the canal. We came across another 3 or 4 shafts which appeared to be in exactly the same condition as the first one we found. So going back to the map, care of Nick Bird and the CotswoldCanal.net, we assumed that we'd found shafts approximately number 20 to 17. None of these shafts were really what we had hoped to find, and including this one where the canal then headed underneath the railway. All of them seemed to be either filled in or collapsed in some way with absolutely no visibility more than 10 feet down. So we continued northwest until we got to what we assumed was shafts number 13 and number 12. Right, let's have a look up there, because that is clearly a spore heap again. So this is the first shaft we've seen with stonework around the outside, like a nice, almost, like circular shape around the shaft. And yeah, this was boarded. They actually boarded, you can see a couple of boards over there. So this is an example of what we have been told, where they originally, to cover these up, presumably perhaps after it was used, maybe 1920s, they just literally put shafts over the wood over the top of the shafts and covered them up. That's obviously been uncovered for safety reasons and fenced off, which makes complete sense. Right, we're now looking for the next shaft in this little wooded area. We were so excited with what we found at these shafts, and with a little inspiration from Martin Zero, we decided to come back again another day with the help of a good friend. So we did come back. We came back a little bit more prepared. The reason why we were more prepared is because of this man here and his son Ryan. This is Gary. If you're a devout fan of ours, you'll have seen Gary in one of our videos before, just one, a long time ago. If you know which one it is, put a comment below. Anyway, Gary is an engineer. You could put Gary in a shed with the A-team. Gary would kick the A-team out and do a job 4 times as better than them. Anyway, we are prepared, onwards to the shaft. So Gary and his son Ryan have built us a rover. Now we're going to call it Transport into Tunnel Rover, because I think that's fitting. Through the trees. Well, what we're trying to do now is what we should have done at home, in hindsight, is untangle the rope. So we bought like 300 metres of rope. What I'm trying to do is double up the rope, tie a knot in the middle, so if one bit of rope breaks, in theory, the knot in the middle will hold either side. That's the theory. Nervous, happy?
I'm scared.
Why?
Well, I know we already said, don't mind if we lose it, but I don't want to lose it.
Gary, as chief engineer, how are you feeling? I mean, I don't want to say this is your responsibility, Gary, if it all goes wrong, but you know, you're chief engineer, so you know.
I don't want to lose my trolley.
Transport into Tunnel Rover is ready. Rebecca's going to make a point.
But we are at no point going anywhere near the edge ourselves. No. We are completely safe at all times. There is no danger for us falling down that.
Yeah, we're not crossing the fence, right?
Not crossing
in any way, shape or form.
All. We are no way
going
to be in danger.
big success. We've reviewed the footage on the camera. It looks amazing. You'll have obviously seen it by now, maybe not, who knows. Fantastic. Big thanks to Gary and Ryan for their help, because we wouldn't have been able to get out for reasons we will discuss later. But for the meantime, on with the rest of the video now, which we filmed 2 weeks ago. So we're just heading down to where we think the northwestern portal is of Sapperton Tunnel. Okay, so we made it down the side, and here we are approaching the portal. Yeah, you can see a collapse, Rebecca. You can see a collapse. I reckon it's about 200 yards. Okay, unlike the coach portal, we couldn't get in because the water was too deep, but we can here. And we're going to try and find a little bit about the tunnel itself in terms of how they propel themselves through it. Up here, you've got holes every metre, every 1.5 metres, which I presume they've got all the way throughout the whole tunnel. You can certainly see them as far as we can see. Now, they may have used those to propel themselves along, but they also did some legging as well, I believe. Right, what's also really interesting is the state of the ceiling here. So, and what I mean by the state is, if I just move the torch to here, that area there, and again, you're not sure if you can make it on the camera, is bulged. There is a big bulge there, where the ceiling isn't anywhere near as arched as what it should be. And yeah, there we go. Proof of that is 200 yards in, there's a big collapse. I'm already getting up to the top of my wellies, and I've only got 20 yards. Okay, so we shall make our way out. Legging. And the fact they used to use their legs to go across the roof, but I'm not sure they always did that, because again, as with Crimson Hill Tunnel on the Child Canal, they've got holes in the wall all the way along. And I would imagine they used to push themselves along. Again, but if they both did at the same time, they would presumably keep a straight eye. But again, the roof, instead of just being curved round, it is actually bulging in the middle. So there's a collapse within 200 yards, 250 yards, and I don't think that's the last collapse that's going to happen. Yeah, should they use this to open this as part of the canal, which they obviously want to do, the Cotswold Canal Trust, you'd think they'd need that would take some work, and I'm sure they already know that. Not teaching those psychics, they would know that this is the major cost to make this safe again, because obviously there's some you look at the old maps, they've got a map of where it's collapsed, and I think for like a half a mile there's a collapse. The air is probably not safe beyond those collapses, because when you get a dip over and you have to climb over, the air beyond isn't always completely safe because there's no sort of through air. There we go. Right, that's a big success. Onwards. Right, thanks for watching the video, peeps. You'll have noticed that in the shaft section, at the end of the shaft section, we put analysis to follow at the end of the video. Here is the end of the video. The reason why we did that, we didn't want to break up the video itself and just have us waffling in the middle. We thought it would flow better. Yeah, too much waffle. Yeah, so three things actually to discuss regarding the shaft. Number one,
perimeter safety and respect to property.
Yeah, so if you've been watching our channel for a while now, you realise that we don't sort of climb fences, we don't break into places. We'd rather get invited to places, make proper documentaries if we can. That's the goal. We knew we could do what we did then by lowering the thingy into the hole safely and without damaging or even touching the fence, actually, because there's a big enough gap underneath it. Should you ever go near it, don't touch the fence, because obviously it's a bit rickety and a bit dangerous. But we knew we could do that quite safely without endangering ourselves, and obviously therefore people that may have to rescue us should we have endangered ourselves.
We were nowhere near needing rescue.
No, we weren't, absolutely.
So it was good.
And if we'd have lost our own equipment, well, that's our tough luck, isn't it? So, yeah.
Yeah, I might have cried.
Yeah, true. But anyway, so yeah, we knew we were in a very safe place where we were, and we knew we could do that safely. Number 2.
Bottom,
right at the bottom. So when we did lower it to the bottom, there's a few glimpses of what was down there. We saw when the trolley went round to the left, there was like a gap beyond the sticks, and that made us think that actually maybe that isn't the bottom. I think that shaft is more like 40 to 50 metres deep, and I think we only got 30, 35, 40 max metres deep.
yeah.
So we're wondering if maybe...
Some of the bigger sort of twigs and branches have fallen down and got caught somewhere along the line, and they just kind of created
they've
almost a new top to it.
Yeah, they've like caught each other, haven't they?
Crisscrossed each other, and then all the leaves on the top and everything else that's fallen down. I mean, it's been there a long time.
Yeah, so maybe that's created what looks like a bottom. And yeah, maybe it goes down another 10 metres thereafter. Who knows? We're not going to find that out, unfortunately, because we don't have the equipment to do that. But maybe it's even collapsed underneath as well. We don't know. That section might be collapsed, but
It's still good fun.
yeah. That leads us on nicely to our last point, which is we have a Patreon. Now, the reason I'm saying that now in this video, because we don't normally like to push that in your face, we are going to release a 22-minute unedited video of the rover going in and coming back out again, completely unedited. So if you want to see that in full, you'll need to subscribe to our Patreon, which is every disused station on the Patreon. We'll put the link in the doobly-doo.
Oh, I love that word. Doobly-doo.
Doobly-doo, just below. So yeah, that would help us out as well, which is very kind of you if you do. If you don't, obviously that's no worries. You've seen some good bits of it anyway. All right, that's us. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. Lots more videos coming up of things like the Camerton branch line with the Titfield Thunderbolt, the Somerset Coal Canal, which is a really interesting one as well.
They're all piling up.
They're all piling up. We'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.